Okay, so we were talking about needs, and the question I specifically raised was, can can you actually have um, self-acceptance if some of your important needs are not met? For example, if you do not feel loved, can you still be comfortable with yourself? If you feel useless, can you still be comfortable with yourself? And if you do not get guidance, can you still be comfortable with yourself? And that's an important question. I leave it as an open question to all of you. At the same time, I would try to address this to some level in this talk. Whenever one of our need is not met, like the need to feel mastery of some trait, of some task or process, or need to feel love, and need for guidance, and many other such needs. I think easily 12 or 15 of such needs are there, which have been identified by many scientists as basic human needs, and such as Abraham Maslow, who's very popular for his hierarchy. But at the same time, what I'm saying is that when these needs are not met, what happens is that it produces an essential anxiety within our being. Our emotions go in the wrong direction when our needs are not met, and it is very important in that case. If you want to be comfortable with yourself, you have to make sure that your basic needs are met. So you make effort to make sure that you're getting your needs met, right? And with that, I will close the chapter on needs, and let's move on to the next section, which is exercises, right? Uh, we'll look at the exercises later on, but essentially, let's go on to the next portion of how learning happens, right? And we'll come to all the exercises right at the end of this talk, and um, how learning happens. It's important to know how learning happens because what is very crucial is that our expectation of changing the approach that we typically take to take a new approach in life has to be grounded in reality, has to be grounded in realistic expectations. So to say that if you have a habit, say, of talking loudly, and someone comes and tells you that actually when you talk loudly, people get inconvenienced, and probably people think that you are being um, impolite. So if that happens and you feel that okay, fantastic, I'll not speak loudly because I'll now realize that it's better to speak softly, and you say okay, let me adopt this. Now in this situation, in an ideal world, what would happen is you have already bought into the idea that your present approach is not so good. You have already bought into the idea that the alternative approach is better. It should then logically follow that you should then be easily able to stop your old habit and replace it with a new habit. Unfortunately, however, because of the way we are built, it's not as simple as that. What happens is that we realize that a person may realize that talking loudly is not working for him, and he or she needs to talk softly, but immediately at that point of time it's in the conscious of the person, and the person actually starts speaking softly, say for another 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, 2 hours, right? However, what happens is as soon as the person forgets or this thing goes out of consciousness, immediately your old habit returns. because as soon as you go into the automatic mode, you are back to your old habit, which is already automated. But your new habit is not automated. It has to be a conscious decision. So, so what happens is, unfortunately, replacing your old habit with a new habit does not happen as soon as you realize that a new habit is superior to your old habit. It does not happen automatically. It does not happen just by logical superiority of the new approach. It then what follows it, a lot of people say that go for the 21-day rule, where for 21 days somehow you start using the new approach, and then it will become an automatic habit. But what happens is that what happens is, when you try to do this 21-day rule, you follow it again for 2 days, and then you forget and go back to your automatic habit. And you try, but you keep forgetting, and you feel really bad about not being able to do the 21-day rule. So I would suggest not to try the 21-day rule. It may sound very against the common practices, and I have nothing against 21-day rule. If you can follow it, fantastic, do go ahead, do that. But I would suggest an alternative approach, where instead of having a 21-day rule in mind, you just keep this cycle of coming back to the present moment and observing,